So if anybody's trying to get that summer bod, do that. All right. So let's get into the mood. Follow me now. Grab your bellies. Give me 3 big breaths. Everybody breathe in and breathe out. Everybody breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. There was an elder woman, and every day she would walk through the forest. It was her refuge. It was her sanctuary. She loved the sights of the forest. She loved the sounds of the forest. She loved the smells of the forest, the feel of the forest, the taste of the forest. She did it every single day. One day as she was walking through that forest, she came across a precious stone, a stone unlike anything she had ever seen before. And all she did was take that stone, pick it up, put it in her pouch, and kept walking. As she was continuing her journey, she came across a young man. This young man looked kind of rough. He looked tired. He looked hungry. He had gone through some things. He finally makes his way up to the elder woman. He says, "Ma'am, do you have anything that I can eat? Anything that I can drink? Can you help me in any way?" And it wasn't long until his eye caught that precious stone in her pouch. As soon as he saw it, he was no longer tired. He was no longer hungry. He was no longer thirsty. He asked the elder woman, "Ma'am, may I have that precious stone that's in your pouch?" And without saying a word, she takes it out and gives it to him and keeps walking. So the young man is walking through the forest with this precious stone. He's touching it. He's caressing it. He's wondering about all the things he can do with this precious stone that he now has in his possession. And after a while, he stops. And he just looks around. He looks throughout the forest. He hears the sounds. He sees the sights. He smells the fragrances. And immediately makes his way back to that elder woman, eventually catches up with her and says, "Ma'am, may I have whatever it is inside of you that allowed you to give me this precious stone so freely?" Now, I really love that story. My mom thinks I claimed it for my own. She used to tell the story all the time. I took it from her. It's my story now. But I love this story because I think it's just a beautiful example of the power of one's gifts. This elder woman was so sure of the gifts that she possessed that once she came across a new one, she was willing to give it up to somebody else who thought they needed it. But in the end, it was the gifts that she always possessed that young man needed all along. And it makes me think about today, because we all, every single one of us in here, has a gift. How many people know they got a gift? Show of hands. How come everybody's hand is not raised up? Everybody, I'm telling you, everybody here, everybody at home, we all have gifts. But here's the problem. We don't all cultivate our gifts. In a lot of cases, we deny our gifts. We ignore them, put them off to the side, move on to something else. Now, throughout life, we grow, we change, we acquire new skills, we bring on new gifts. But I promise you, the universe will always find a way to bring you back to the gifts that should be at the forefront of your purpose. And I'll tell you why. Because we are all, every single one of us here, every single one of us is too valuable to the world to ever shortchange, to ever marginalize the gifts that we can bring to it. Because those gifts may be exactly what the world has been waiting for. So, this baby right here, this is what I do. I'm an African drummer. I'm an African storyteller. I've been doing these things for 20 years, the overwhelming majority of my life. And I've acquired new skills, I've acquired new gifts, notably being a public health researcher. But trust me, the universe has always brought me back to this bad boy right here. It happened in middle school, it happened in high school, it happened in undergrad, it even happened on my jobs. Happening in grad school right now. There are so many people at Bloomberg that know me only as a storyteller and a drummer, not a researcher. But that's cool. As long as they know me, I don't care. I don't care how they know me, as long as they know me. But it's a telling sign that I'm never supposed to steer away from the gifts that I've always possessed. And in grad school, I've been given the opportunity to take those gifts to the next level and merge them with the gifts that I'm acquiring as a public health researcher. So my mother and I, for the past 2+ years, we've been implementing this intervention we call Discover Me, Recover Me. And it uses the African oral tradition to aid individuals recovering from societal traumas. So one thing I've also learned, you may not always see how the gifts can come together. Somebody else may see it in you. So sometimes you just need to shut up and listen and try it out. There was an instructor in one of my classes. I don't know how she found out I was a storyteller, but she found out I was a storyteller. And she urged me to go to recovery and community in West Baltimore and teach the clients storytelling. And I'm thinking, I just got to Hopkins. This is the best public health school in the world. I need to be a top flight researcher. I need to be running analyses and collecting data and writing papers. This woman want me to tell stories. That ain't why I'm here. But she kept on insisting, go to Rick, teach them storytelling. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So it was December night. My mother, myself, and my Aunt Val, who's been in recovery from substance abuse for over 30 years, we went to Rick that night. And we told our stories. We pitched this idea, and it wasn't long until the clients at Rick were telling us stories. And they'll tell you, we haven't left since. Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8:00 p.m., 31 North Fulton Avenue in West Baltimore. You will find me and you will find my mother in the back room of recovery and community, hanging out with the clients, telling stories. And just like the old elderly lady had her refuge, Rick has become my refuge. It's become my sanctuary. I hate not being there on Thursday nights. I have a lot of obligations that keep me from being there sometimes, and I don't like missing out hanging with the clients, telling stories, because it has become a beautiful experience. It really, really has. There's one client, Miss Cynthia. Her prowess as a storyteller is incredible. So you talk about seeing people's gifts manifest right in front of your eyes. She is a born storyteller. She tells us one story about being caught in the rain. She uses it as her metaphor for her alcohol abuse. She would say how she was so wet and her kids were getting wet. And there was one point in her life where her mother took her kids out of the rain, but left her in it. There was another point where she had this spiritual moment with a newborn niece that just was the catalyst for her becoming dry and getting out of the rain. And she's been out of the rain ever since. So the gifts that you see, that we have seen through this intervention, have been incredible. And the one thing I've learned is that if you take your gifts and you just give it a shot with the possibility of failure, because let me tell you, failure is always an option. I don't care what anybody says. Failure is always an option. And I know that scares us a lot of times because we don't want to fail. I don't want to fail, but sometimes you just got to take that leap. See what happens. So we took that leap with this intervention, and it's been one of the greatest experiences of my life. And the beautiful thing is, I've gotten so much support, even within my department, mental health. I've had professors come to Rick and hang out with us, telling stories. I actually got an email not too long ago. One of the professors wants to bring a representative from AARP to come hang out with us and tell stories. So when you take that leap and you use your gifts and bring it along for the ride, you may bring a whole new approach to recurring issues. And in public health, Substance abuse is a recurrent issue. It's been a recurrent issue for generations. Now, believe it or not, I'm only 29. I know the beard makes me look so much older. It's all good. I love this beard. And I see a lot of young faces. How many people are students at Hopkins? Show of hands. Okay. So most of the room. So you and I are the same generation. This is what I've noticed about our generation. We are very cognizant of the world's issues. We know what's going on, whether it's social issues, racial issues, gender issues, political issues, environmental issues. We know. We know what the deal is. And the other thing is we're very vocal about it. So I don't know how your Facebook looks, but my Facebook page is all these videos, all these posts of my friends calling out instances of racism, instances of sexism, instances of classism, homophobia, genderphobia, Islamophobia, all these injustices that are happening in the world. And I love it. I love it. Because the first step in dealing with a problem is acknowledging that one exists. So we got that part down. Clap, 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 clap. We got that part down. Now we need to take it to the next step, the next level. So we need to take that unapologetic cognizance, add our gifts, and have the audacity, the absolute gall to share those gifts with the world. And I'm speaking specifically to the students at Hopkins, because I hear this thing called the Hopkins bubble. Yeah, okay. So y'all heard about it too. The Hopkins bubble. Now see, that bubble's never applied to me. I'm born and raised in Baltimore, so this entire city belongs to me. And I belong to it. But it's not Hopkins, Maryland. It's Baltimore, Maryland. For the next few years, you are all residents of Baltimore, Maryland. So be active residents and citizens of Baltimore, Maryland. Do not let the Hopkins bubble leave you here. Don't let it leave you here. Because again, your gifts are way too valuable to the city. Way too valuable to the city to just leave it in these confines. Go out to the people. It would be a disservice to you. It would be a disservice to the gifts that you've been granted. It would be a disservice to your new home. And it would be a disservice to the home that you represent, not to share them with this city. This city needs you. I need you. Believe it or not, I need you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. This is my home to the day I'm gone because the city needs me. So I'm giving all my gifts to it. And for however long you're here, I hope you do the same. I genuinely do, because being at Hopkins is a gift. So in addition to the gift that you already have, being at Hopkins in itself is a gift. Here's what I've learned. When people find out you're from Hopkins, they will listen to you even if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. It is the God honest truth. So my charge to you is to know what the hell you're talking about. I'm serious. Know what you're talking about. And the best way to do that is to leave the safety and the comfort of this campus. Go past Charles Street. Go past University Parkway. Go past St. Paul Street. Leave Homewood. Come with me to Middle East Baltimore. Go to Bel Air Edison. Go to Greater Mondawmin. Go to Sandtown Winchester. You see what I'm saying? Go throughout this city. Integrate yourself with this city. It belongs to you, and you belong to it. There's so many, I see a couple people who are in the class that I TA. That's wonderful. I'm glad y'all here. Extra credit. and you've been learning throughout the semester about the many organizations and the individuals who are on the ground floor, the grassroots level of addressing the issues of the city. And you can tell they want you. They want you there. They want your help. They want your expertise. They want your knowledge. They want your skills. They want your gifts. They genuinely do. All you need to do is be respectful of their experiences. Be respectful. Acknowledge their perspective. Understand their circumstances. And if you do that, imagine the things you can do for this city. And truly, Baltimore is a microcosm of the U.S. If you can get it done in Baltimore, you can get it done anywhere. So, one of the things that I like to do, even in my relatively young age, is I think about the end. I think about how the story for David Fakunle will conclude. And I don't think that's too unusual, but, it's not the best conversation to have with yourself. Oh, when are you going to die? How are you going to die? What are people going to remember when you're gone? But I comfort myself by saying, no matter how the book of David Fakunle is read, and no matter who reads it, they will know that I gave my gifts on every page. They will. And I'm so glad to see that in my next generation. Oh, Lord, here you come. Thinking about my son. He just turned 2 on Thursday. If I wasn't here right now talking with you all, I'd be celebrating his birthday. He's having a birthday party right now at this exact moment. So here's what y'all need to do for me. I want to give him a little gift. So what I'm going to do is I want y'all to say happy birthday to my boy Cruz Matisse. All right, here we go. Hey, Cruz. This is Daddy. I'm a little busy right now. I'm so sorry that I couldn't be at your birthday party. I know you're tearing up the house right now. Hyped up on all the sugar that's there, M&Ms and cake and all that stuff. But I got a few friends that want to say something to you. So on the count of 3, just give my boy a little happy birthday. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday!
Love you, boy. Thank you. Y'all just made his birthday. Now, thinking about Cruz, he's incredible. And even at 2, he has taught me so many lessons. We were in Orlando celebrating his birthday a little early, and we were in an IHOP finishing breakfast, and all of a sudden, this little boy starts taking the half and half containers and starts building, just making his own little creations with those half and half containers. It was the most wonderful thing I'd ever seen. And we join in and we give him little designs and we say, okay, take 2 of them and, put one in the middle and build on top of that. And he does it. And I told him, he inspired me that day. Because I hope no matter what he does in his life, and he is going to be extraordinary, proud father, I hope he always shows that creativity in whatever he does. That and his love of dancing, because that boy can dance. That boy can dance. We all have a debt to pay. For anybody that has come through Hopkins, you have a debt to pay to Baltimore. Dr. Maricela Gomez, wonderful researcher, wonderful community activist, told me that we all have a debt to pay, so pay that debt to this city. Now me, my debt's eternal. I'll never be able to pay my debt to East Baltimore and to Baltimore at large, but I'm gonna try for as long as I have. But no matter what you do, no matter how the book of your life is read, and no matter who reads it, my charge to you all, everybody at home, my charge to you all is that on every page of that book, it is apparent to the readers that you gave of your gifts at every opportunity and to every person who needed it, who wanted it, who deserved it. Because I'm telling you, your gifts are exactly what this world needs. Thank you.